It's the Kink Consultant podcast, where we're turning up the heat on all things kink and dating, relationships, and pop culture. So close the door, plug in your headphones, and let's get down to it. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Kink Consultant. We are back with Brenda, my BizDom, who actually manages my entire business. We call her my BizDom because she also is like, Amanda, get on your fucking shit. But anyway, welcome back, Brenda.
Hello.
So we haven't talked about my dating life in months, mostly because even I'm like, what's going on here? Like, spoiler alert, I'm still thinking what's going on here. This isn't much updates, but like, for those of you who are just joining the podcast, Brenda, how long have you been married?
Technically, I've been married like 7 years, but my husband and I have been together for 20, literally this May. It's been 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations. We hit the anniversary. Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of weird because like we actually talked about it recently. Like, did you know it's been 20 years? He's like, no. I'm like, yes, honey, it has been 20 years since we started seeing each other. And we have been maybe 100 different people in those 20 years.
Whoever you two are now is goals. I think about this regularly. Like, I follow you on social media, like seeing him come out of that restaurant with the pizza and you just in the car. Man. I'm like, these are the small wins.
Yeah. All I can think about that entire time, you know that song, "He My Man, Man." You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. It's like singing that in the car as he's coming out with my extra large pizza because he knows the way to my heart, you know?
The vibe. Seriously, the frickin' vibe. I guess to start from the beginning, what Friends with Benefits and I did was we went into a BDSM contract together. And what I didn't know is how many people don't know what that is. Essentially, people who are in a dom sub dynamic can put a contract together with rules and habits and consequences of what will happen if they don't stick to it. We did that with each other. We broke up before we finished the term of the contract. And there were some things that just like occurred to me. One of them being like, I felt he had very little follow through. And I realized, I think he was expecting me to do the whole thing of like, tell him, okay, now it's time to punish me. And I was not going to do that. In my head, the obvious next step is, okay, well then that's a rule though. That's a new habit, like doing this every day and you get in trouble for not doing that. And I guess there is something worth mentioning. Like, I am dating at this stage, which is funny because at the beginning of the contract, we're like, I'm not going to date. But as time goes on, I'm like, I do want to meet someone. I know he's not my person. I need to start dating. I meet somebody and we'll get into that. I'm still committed though. I'm like, okay, May 5th, we had this like agreement that we were going to end in May. It was going to be like a 30-day contract. I start to just get a little bit more real with him. I'm having a tough time with what's going on politically. I am a very open, moderate person. I pretty much allow people to vote how they want to vote. I'm not going to tell them they're wrong or right. But we get into this conversation and essentially I ask him, was your right to guns more important than my rights to bodily autonomy? And he simply says yes. And we just look at each other.
I'm sorry.
And me too, Brenda. Me too. Like, wait, what? Like, your penis has been inside me.
Yeah.
I let your penis be inside me when you think that my bodily autonomy is not as important as other priorities?
Done.
Dehumanizing. Worst and most embarrassing thing is it wasn't done right away. I just was like, okay, thank you for being honest. So like my whole thing is lead with curiosity, right?
Yep.
You know, someone tells me how they vote, I kind of ask, oh, like, why do you vote that way? What did you think? So this is a whole conversation like that. And it leads me to these questions. And I'm not going to be on blast here saying like what his views are versus mine. Yeah. But that was the question. 2 days after that is when I find out that person that I'm seeing is probably leaving town eventually. And I'm like, I can't just stay with Friends with Benefits because of this. Do you know what I mean? So I've met someone. I'm like, okay, how do I actually feel about Friends with Benefits? I can't stay with him just because someone else is leaving. Like, that's not fair to any party. So I text him and basically at this stage, he was coming over almost every night, staying over. We were, you know, continuing to have amazing sex. I text Friends with Benefits and I'm like, I don't think you should come stay tomorrow night. And he's like, okay, just tell me what you're thinking. And in my head, I'm being super clear. Like, you shouldn't come stay tomorrow night because I want to break up with you. But he's like, okay, tell me what you're thinking. And I'm realizing I'm not being clear at all because I'm avoiding the actual commitment of ending things. So I say, I do not want to continue to pursue anything. This needs to end now. Over time, this bodily autonomy comment just keeps playing in
coming
my
up.
head. And that's why I ended. I'm really open. I'm truly very accepting of a lot of different viewpoints, for better or worse. And I know right now we're in a society where it's like, I can't be your friend if you voted against me and stuff like that. And I do feel like people voted against me because of the business I'm in, the restrictions being put on this type of conversation. I was being flagged all the time because computers were flagging me and not recognizing I was educational, and that was
Educating.
harming my business, right? So I do feel direct effects of it, but I still think like everyone has their reasons. I give him the option. I'm like, listen, I'm ending it. I do end it over text, but I give him the option to like talk about it anytime. So we go and we have this whole conversation, and he says, was it that? And I'm like, yeah, it was specifically when you said the bodily autonomy thing. And he said, I didn't say that. And I said, really? And he said nothing else. He went on I know there's nothing I can do to change your mind. And I wasn't going to force him to justify his answer any further. So I think it's just like one of those things where we agree to disagree on it. And I still feel like we can be friends, which I think is more controversial probably for a lot of people than me cutting him off completely. But I don't roll that way because I have beliefs that I think other people don't agree with, and I don't expect people to stop being my friend because of them.
The whole not agreeing to I said that, I feel kind of loops back to a conversation I remember us having when you first started seeing him. And I think I said this then. So listen, mini golf guy, too bad if you're listening to this. But like, I think he's a narcissist because he has this era of dominance, but he doesn't follow through.
What's really funny though is you're not the first person to say
Who
he's a
said this?
narcissist. Okay, moving swiftly along.
Right, so now that Friends of Benefits is out, who's the new one?
We will call him the German.
The German! Okay, excellent.
Because he's from Germany. So I met this guy on Tinder, not my type, lighter hair, handsome, real cute, right? But not someone I'd normally swipe on. And definitely I messaged first. I never message first. I don't know what came over me. He swiped right. His profile said something about how he travels a lot for work and pleasure. I knew he super liked me, and Tinder tells you that. And I said, I travel a lot too, but just for pleasure. If I understood how much this man travels, he is like taking hundreds of flights a year. He is traveling all the time.
That sounds exhausting, by the way.
Exhausting to do, exhausting to date. So I'm like out of town at the time when we're messaging, and we'd sort of go back and forth, and then it drops off for like a week or something. And I open Tinder, I guess a week later, and I have a message from him saying, are you back from California? And I'm like, yeah. He said, would you like to go on a date on what night? And I say Wednesday. I give him options. He's like, all right, let's go. I realized from my friends with benefits, who I'm still with at this time, I don't want to be with someone who voted for Trump because I can be friends with someone who voted for Trump. I can't have sex with someone who did. It's two things. It's like I agreed to a date with this guy because he was cute without doing any of my normal due diligence. One piece is, are you kinky? So I message him and I say, are you kinky? And he's like, I'm into bondage. I said, has it ever been a significant part of your relationship? And he responds and he says, it was part of my sexual relationship. And I'm like, you know what? I'll take that answer. That's fair. It's honest. But in between him answering these questions, I am so on one about canceling this date. I'm like, listen, I'm so sorry to do this to you. I want to cancel. Because I was like, I need someone kinky. Like, I should have asked you this before. I'm really sorry. So this is day of. And for this one, I do feel guilty because he's obviously remembered that this date is happening and I have not. I tell him, I'm sorry, I want to cancel. And he says, can't you teach me? And I have this moment of, I get really annoyed when people are like, I don't want to teach a dom. I have a firm belief you teach people how to love you. Why can't you teach them how to dom you? Because we all need to learn how to be in partnership, right?
Absolutely.
And some of that can be about doming. So I'm like, okay, Amanda, do not be a hypocrite. You can teach this person. You know it's possible. Agree to it. And I say my classic thing of, I can teach you, but you need to be willing to put in the work to learn. And then I say, okay, I have one final question. Who did you vote for? And he explains he's not American. He is German. He voted in the German elections. I'm like, okay, we'll go on this date. But there's this one other thing, because I'm like looking at his profile really closely. Do you know that every man I've ever loved was one specific star sign?
We talked about this. It was the Pisces or something like that. Pisces?
Yes.
Dang it.
Every man I've ever loved. So my toxic trait is seeing this man as a Pisces and not thinking, oh, every man who's a Pisces has broken my heart. Or, you know, like I've loved is a Pisces. I'm like,
oh, this will be fine.
Worst case scenario, I'm going to fall in love and have my heart broken. It's fine. So we go on this date. We have dinner. We talk about, I mean, we have the European connection. I grew up in Ireland. He's German. I mean, he's traveled a lot. I've traveled probably not as much as him, but I've also traveled a lot. We have a lovely date. It's one of those things where, okay, let's go hiking this coming weekend. He wants to go hiking Saturday. I'm like, I can't go hiking hiking Saturday, I can go Sunday. And he says, okay, but like then let's also go for drinks Saturday night. So I go from a first date to already having the next 2 dates planned. I'm looking forward to Saturday. We go, we have wine. It's a good time. And then I'm hungry, so I demand we go for pizza, and we go get pizza after the wine. And that's the end of day 2. Date 1, I don't kiss. Not because I don't want to. I'm just like, he doesn't come in for it, and I don't.
You're getting to know each other too, and it's such an intimate thing. For me, kissing is more intimate than some other things.
Yeah, I agree. Like someone's tongue is in my mouth. The next morning, I'm like, look, I'm busy. I can't be there at that time. And he's like, take all the time you need, which is really nice to hear because I'm like, oh, okay. So I do take all the time I need. And I meet up with him.
6 weeks, no.
Yeah. I ask him, like, what shoes are you wearing? Because I don't want to be like, how tough is this hike going to be? Because I don't want to seem like I'm incapable of doing a hike. And he's like, sneakers. And I'm like, okay. So I'm assuming we're just going on this like trail walk type of thing. Because that's what I mean when I say hiking. Just for everyone in the audience.
Flat. Something flat. We're going for a walk, friends.
Germans have mountains. They're really into hiking. That's what I've gathered. When they say a hike, they literally mean we're going to put ourselves through something here. Yeah. I drive to him and then we get in his car and go drive to the trail. And we're getting out of the car and he points to this mountain. And he said, we're going to the top of that. And I'm like, wait, what? Because I had not signed up to go to the top of this mountain. And already I'm like, okay, I may have overemphasized my hiking skills. I have hiked a mountain, but like, that's not what I was expecting on this day. So we go on this hike. We've already been on 2 dates, but it's a long time. I think it's like a 4-hour hike, he says. And he's done it before. And I'm fine with 4 hours, but I start to realize we have to fill 4 hours of time. And he is quiet. And I can't shut up. And I'm thinking, well, this is the last time this man's taking me on a hike because I just keep talking. And I think that he probably likes silence.
Diarrhea.
It's not even verbal diarrhea. It's just like, I have thoughts and I need to say them. So then I'm like actively trying to shut up too, because I'm like, this man, he's not very talkative. So I just think, okay, Amanda, just let him enjoy his hike. You enjoy your hike. Thinking I should have brought my headphones. I even asked him, I'm like, do you ever listen to music while you hike? Because I'm thinking,
what are we doing?
Yeah, me and my own thoughts. No, thank you. And he said, no, I like the sound of nature. Like, and that's it. Like, but it's like, he just really likes being in nature. So I tell him to go ahead because we're like climbing and I'm just like tired and he doesn't want that. And I know it's because I said, are you worried about going too fast for me? And he said, yeah, because he's obviously behind me being like, geez, this is like slow. So we get to the top of the mountain. I make a quick video. Social media is foreign to him. This man has no social media. Like the fact that I'm so addicted to my phone is definitely a turn off for him. Then we're going down the mountain and he's like, can we go this other way? Because I don't like to take the same loop. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'd rather see more of the mountain anyway. And it's steep and it's rocky. And Brenda, I fall on my ass. And I immediately say, I'm fine, and stand up. The way this man barely turned around to see if I was okay. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm used to people being like, oh my God, are you okay? Yeah. Do you need me to like hold your hand? Nothing. This man barely like looks back. So we make it down the mountain. I'm super proud of myself because I'm like, well, I did it. It was in like less than 4 hours, so everything seems fine. I am bothered about that because I'm like, the princess you are on a hike with just fell. Like, what is this? The truth is, though, like, I really enjoy spending time with this quiet, slightly mysterious German man. So I invite him over to my house. I'm like, listen, let me go home and clean a little bit and then like come over. And he comes over and like give him a tour of the house. Like, we're truly like really trying to get to know each other. And my house is not dirty, but it's messy. And it was too much of a mess for me to like put anything together. Clothes were everywhere. So he comes over and then we like hang out on the couch. We watch an episode of a TV show. And then he says, do you want to come over to my place? And I do want to go over to his place. So I go over to his place and it looks like a fucking magazine. Do you know what I mean? Everything is perfectly placed. Literally the stereotype of a German. I don't know. We hang out. We watch TV. We have a good time. Like we make out on his couch and it's a really nice couch. On Tuesday, we decide to go for dinner. And he's like, what do you want to do now? And I'm just thinking, we did the thing. We had dinner. Like, that's the date, you know? Yeah. But I'm like, you could come over because I'm dog sitting someone's dog at the time. I'm like, I need to go home. You're welcome to come over. I said, but I have to warn you, it's messier than it was when you saw it 2 days ago. Deadpan, this man, like I cannot emphasize how shocked this man was, but also deadpan. He goes, how could it be any less clean than it was 2 days ago? And even though I might be slightly offended, I think that's the funniest shit I've ever heard. Because this man is shocked that I could let things get any worse than they already were. I immediately pull out my phone. I'm like, I'm writing this quote down. That is so fucking funny. And he's truly shocked. So he comes over, we hang out, we have fun. Nothing happens because I'm still in that stage of like, we're just kissing, but also talking, laughing, and having a good time.
Are you still with mini golf? Yeah. Okay.
I am. Friends with Benefits is still going strong because I've known this guy less than a week at this stage.
You're right.
You know?
You're right.
It's early. Me and German guy go on a few more dates. Right. And like things are going well. It's true. He travels a lot. But like sometimes I'm at the gym. He works near the gym. He'll come over and meet me for a coffee or something, especially if he has to travel or I have to travel. It's cute. Right. We're getting along really well. We have a list of things we want to do. There's like a checklist of things we want to get done and do together because we've both sort of been lonely. You know, right. He even says to me, he's like, how long have you been on Tinder? Sort of the implication being, how am I just finding you? And I'm feeling the same way. How am I just finding him? We feel like each other's solution. Hey there. I see you. Sitting at home thinking, I want more excitement in the bedroom, but I have no idea where to start. That's why I created Permission to Explore, a live, shame-free webinar for curious people who want to dip a toe into kink without having to label themselves or commit to a full-blown leather lifestyle. This is your low-pressure invitation to learn what everything means. We're talking roles, dynamics, desires, and how to start talking about what turns you on, even if you're still figuring it out. I'll walk you through the building blocks, how to stay safe, how to explore solo or with a partner, how to negotiate what you want, and what to do when it doesn't go as planned. You can ask questions live or watch the replay later if you can't make it. You're not going to need a dungeon. You don't need a full outfit of leather. You just need a little curiosity and permission to explore. So check out this webinar by going to amandadames.com/permission to explore. I'll be holding the webinar on June 3rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Replay will be available after. Brenda, things are going well. On this front, we are having fun together. If I was vanilla, this would be perfect.
Perfect.
But I'm not. And he has dabbled with some Dom stuff. Like sometimes I say, yes, sir. Sometimes like he actually almost immediately makes a rule. He wants me to ask before I look at my phone because he's like, you just use it so much. And he gets that it's for my job, but he's like, it's too much. And it's sort of like, we're here together. And it's actually a fair point. It sort of like gets me out of the habit of looking at my phone. But there's never any real consequence, again, for looking at my phone without asking.
Have we set that expectation?
Yes and no. So what I will say is I'm shocked at how quick he is at like picking up on it. The moment I grab my phone, he catches it. Like that's a check on the like, okay, he could be a good Dom. And
he calls you out on it. Yeah, it's one thing to clock it, but it's a whole other thing to actually say something.
And sometimes it's really hot. One time I was at his apartment and he was talking to me and I was just on my phone, like unashamedly on my phone, kind of paying attention, but also not. And he kind of like said, Amanda, look at me when I'm talking to you. And he pushed me up against the wall and it was really fucking hot. Like I was just like, I mean, I melted. I know. Yeah, I'm like, this is fucking hot. So he has these moments of it and he knows that he can. And like, we've talked about spanking. So one of the things that happens is everyone knows I have a spanking fetish, meaning I need it. We're making out in his bed. I stop him. We're making out for a while and like he goes down to touch me and I'm with Friends with Benefits. So he knows it's not going to lead to sex, but I stop him. I say, what are you trying to achieve here, German? And he says, whatever. He's like really like not sure. And I think he's maybe shy, but also I get it. Here's someone, I'm probably putting him on the back foot, acting like he's doing something wrong. I said, I have explained to you, nothing works unless I'm having this need met. And that's just how I operate. I said, when I told you that I was serious about it, he said, okay. He's like, I just don't want it to feel inauthentic. So we have that conversation. And he's like, I don't want to role play it. And I'm like, that's totally fair. But you have to understand that I just can't jump into it without it. He doesn't want to role play the Dom sub thing, the spanking, the punishment.
I guess to me, it's not a role play. How do you role play that when it should be a part of you? You know what I mean? When you're intimate, when you're in that moment and you get spanked or you are spanking, it's because you want it to be a part of that situation. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I guess in my brain, there is no role play. You either are or you aren't.
He also doesn't know me that well. He doesn't know me well enough to like, we haven't had boundary conversations, but we haven't had those conversations also because I'm basically just saying, listen, you can't do this without the other thing
Yeah.
without the
Yeah.
spanking and punishment. And it's not really a big deal because I'm still with friends with benefits, and German is very aware. We're not having a sexual relationship. We're not having sex. And I actually love that I was so honest from the beginning because it really set expectations. And he was like, I'm not trying to rush into anything. I'm looking for a partner, so we don't need to have sex right away. And we're getting on really well. And then it's early enough in our dating, but we go to brunch one day and he says, I might have to move for my job. We're unsure. He's like, but as soon as I heard, I knew I wanted to tell you, because that's where we are in things. Like, we are wanting to tell each other things. He tells me and I'm like, okay, I have a serious thing to think about. And I realize that's the moment I realized I am ending it with friends with benefits for a couple of reasons. It was the statement that he made, but it was also that I do not want to decide I'm not going to pursue anything with the German because it's easier to go back to friends with benefits. And I'm like, I don't want to rest on that. I really need this to be done so I can move on in whatever direction I decide to take this. Later that day, asked me to learn German because it's like, okay, we'll figure this out. I'll learn German. We're going to date exclusively and figure out if we are right for each other. I'm going to tell you from where I'm sitting right now, I'm beginning to believe I rushed into that too fast. There was no reason to date exclusively. There was no reason to rush it. I feel like I should have stayed at a stage of like, well, let's see where this goes, because we are seeing where it goes. But now we're dating exclusively. We've deleted the apps. We're just dating each other. And honestly, his communication has fallen off. Not only that, I'm learning German, and this man is not doing any work to learn about BDSM outside of us. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like he's allowing it to be on the back burner, and I'm not sure for what reason. I'm crushing over him wildly. Okay. He is, in my mind, the hottest guy ever. I totally have him on a pedestal, and I am not used to that. This man made my fucking bed one day when he stayed here. I like went into the bathroom, brushed my teeth, I came out. My bed was perfectly made like it was a hotel. He was very proud of it. He explained, he was like, first you do this, then you do this. I'm like, whatever. Okay.
Is he
like,
military, or did he used to be military?
No, but it feels like it. Okay.
He's just German. That's the way they do things there. Okay.
Very, very proud of his German efficiency. But you know what? He has a good sense of humor. And that's not something all Germans are associated with, but he makes me laugh every day.
So it sounds like you're falling for the guy, but not necessarily all of the guys. You've already said this maybe once or twice because you're like, ooh, that's all there is. But like, why? Like, what is happening that that's all there is?
There's two things that are happening. There's no movement on the BDSM side of things, and I'm feeling really unseen. The intimacy's not there for me because I need this. And I keep telling him, like, listen, I'm going to teach you. It just doesn't feel like there's ever time for it. He's traveling all the time. When we do hang out, we're doing some hobby together or doing something.
Of his, by the way, because everything you've told me so far is his hobbies.
Yeah, pickleball is mine. I'm playing pickleball with all of my friends anyway. I'm feeling not communicated with. And I think one of my mistakes that I've made is being too easy and available to be communicated with. And one of the reasons is I don't believe in playing games. I don't do it. I don't want it. But I think it shows me faster. If I'm not playing games, it just cuts to the chase little bit faster. I have already given him feedback twice. Like, you're not communicating with me enough. And he admits, he's like, you're right. It takes 2 seconds to send a text. I'll work on that. And then it happens again. Like, he goes all day without texting me back. Like, I've texted him stuff. There's zero response. And then he texts me later. We get on the phone. I say outright again, listen, like, I can't be with someone who's not texting. Currently, he is traveling and being a bad texter. And I am at the stage where he's traveling. This is a significant chunk of time and there's a large time difference. I'm not going to beg to be communicated with when I've already said twice that's really important to me. And I think that all of this is to say that I am feeling extremely unseen in this relationship. One of the things that I'm figuring out now is, do I wait till he's back and have the conversation? Is it naturally going to filter out? We're in a watch this space sort of thing
as it happens. From my perspective, I would hate to have those types of conversations over phone, text, all that kind of stuff, because shit just gets messed up that way. You know what I mean? So like, I would obviously wait until he gets back. But if you're not being seen and you've given multiple communications about this and it's still not changing, now I realize that it's probably been a relatively short amount of time.
We're talking just 2 months since our first date. So we're 2 months in.
It's healthy to have those communication points, right? I mean, again, 20 years in, and it's taken us this long to have those conversations right away. So fuck it. There is no right answer to this situation whatsoever. Do you like him enough to keep trying? Then keep trying.
I like him enough to keep trying. In my mind, he is like Prince Charming. I think he is the hottest guy I've ever dated, right? I am really attracted to him. The problem is I've already communicated my needs and they are not being met. And he is a very busy person. I don't want to beg for the attention that I need.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be apologetic about needing it.
Of course not.
I like this guy, but I don't think that it just doesn't feel right enough. And that's tough for me right now.
I mean, and this is why we talk about having that conversation when you're dating, right?
Yes. Yes. There are times where we can communicate and he picks up on exactly what I'm saying. And I think he's good at putting out fires. And I need to be a fire for him to pay attention. That's actually what I think. I can be a fiery person,
that's toxic
but
in itself.
I'm not going to be a fire. So it's sort of like, we'll just let this simmer for a minute. Things have come up and we've worked through them, but like the texting thing, the communication thing,
that's a big one.
That's a really big one for me. That's where I'm at. I'm like, okay, how much is this worth it? But if it's someone who's not lining up on the kinks, doesn't seem to be putting in the work. And I basically had to say, you agreed to do this before we went on a date.
If you ask him 3 times to go and look into BDSM and he still doesn't want to do it, then you need to like really think about it, because we already know that's something you need to just process, to do whatever.
And that is the thing. He is just close enough to right, but not the right thing. And I don't know if I want to put in the effort right now to make him the right thing, because I don't know what's going through his head. And I am a huge proponent of asking, but when I've asked twice for texts, I don't know if it's worth it a third time.
It's a hard situation to be in. I don't know what the right step is. Like, other than to keep talking. I guess in my brain, it's let's just keep going and see what happens and go from there, because my brain just keeps going, communicate. And if he just outright says I can't do this, you know what I mean, then it's that's that.
Would you mention it a third time?
Yeah, I would. But also, I've mentioned this twice now and I'm doing it for a third time. I need this, and if you're not willing to do it, tell me. I will get the fuck out right now. Thank you very much. Like, I will walk away right now. But you need to tell me that you're not interested in this. Because if you are, then great. Maybe I can help you. Maybe I can show you things. I know you say that you're not really ready to like go down that path. But if you really liked this guy, you would go down that path. Just like if you really loved what you do, you would have your business.
Counterpoint. If it's important to me, I would want it to be important to him. And he asked me to learn German and I put in an hour a day of German.
So where's his effort? Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't care how busy you are. That's where I land. And I think that like there's just too much not going right at the moment and it's heartbreaking. But like, okay.
So I did my homework. I was a good girl. I watched Bridget Jones's Diary. So please tell me, why did I need to watch this movie?
Okay, question for you before I answer that. Do you think I'm like Bridget?
No, I don't know. Bridget, I think she's flighty. I wouldn't call you her at all. Like, at all. I would not put you and Bridget in the same bucket because she's too flighty. She doesn't know who she is. She is so insecure about every piece of her life. And that's me just like going deep in on her. And you're not like that. You know who you are. You know what you like. You know the type of people that you want to be around. You know what you want for the most part.
So tell me, why am I in this relationship, Bridget Jones? And why am I dating Mark Darcy?
I think you've found someone who kind of ticks a lot of the boxes that you want. He doesn't have any idea of what your world looks like. So for you, like, okay, well, come over here and do all the things. And because he has no idea or even cares about it, you're feeling insecure about it all because he doesn't understand and he's not meeting you where you need to be or where you need him to be.
Yeah.
It's more of it.
100%. And I don't want to take it away from him. I think he recognizes that it's impressive, the following I have, that I'm building my own business. I kind of think sometimes I want someone who's a little closer to it, who cares enough to get Instagram to see it. That is what it is. I don't want to be Bridget Jones. I don't want to feel like I'm feeling in this relationship. And I think that is the crux of the issue. Figuring out how to move on from it because I like him. I don't believe anyone is worth this feeling. So it's sort of like, how do I get past this feeling to figure out what to do next?
Well, it means walking away and finding someone who's going to make you feel good.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's really what that means. You're never going to be fully secure about yourself unless you have someone who is fully on board with all of your things.
And you know what? I don't want to blame him for any of it because it isn't him. It's just a possible incompatibility of the way we both operate. And I think it's beyond having a crush. Like, you know, when you're young and you have a crush, You can
Yeah.
feel these types of things. Another favorite quote. We're playing pickleball. Like, I'm walking around. We're about to go for a walk one day, and I put my glasses on, and it's cloudy. And he's like, why are you wearing those? I was like, I don't want to squint. And he's like, your glasses are filthy. And he takes them off my head and he goes and washes them. And he finishes washing them, dries them, and hands them back. And he said, I did that for me, not for you. And it wasn't mean. It was just very like he could not handle how messy it was. He is Mark Darcy from Bridget Jones's Diary, and this man is making me feel like Bridget Jones. In my normal life, I feel totally put together and like life is good. Around him, I feel like a hot fucking mess. I cannot explain this enough. I do think a little bit I have been too flexible. I don't know if I'll get another text. I don't know if I'll get a text today, tomorrow. I don't know. And on that note, I guess to tie this all up with a little bow, that is a real life update of my dating life. You don't know, I don't know. We don't know. Until next time, have a good one. Thanks for joining, Brenda. Always fun. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with anyone who might find it interesting. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like me to cover in future episodes, feel free to reach out. Email info@thekinkconsultant.com. Until next time, keep on kinking on.